Nutrition 101. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down macros and micros so simply that every single one of you is going to be able to understand what I'm going to go over here and have something to take away from this video. First, I'm going to go over macros. What those are protein, carbs, and fat. When people think of protein, they think of like meat, chicken, eggs. People think of carbs, they think of like rice and potatoes. People think of fat, they think of like nuts, seeds, and oil, stuff like that. Those are all correct, and there's a little more to it. First one I'm gonna go over is protein, okay? So I'm gonna write down protein. Now what does protein do? I'm gonna write equals builds and repairs. Builds and repairs what? A lot of you are thinking muscle. You're not wrong, but I'm gonna write down tissue. And then I'll put muscle in parentheses because it builds and repairs tissue, especially muscle. That's the important part. Now, protein is made of something called amino acids. Okay, so I'm gonna write that down real quick. Made of amino acids, and then I'm gonna draw a little diagram. Keep in mind, I'm not an artist, all right? So don't judge my diagram, but you'll be able to understand it. And the amino acids are building blocks of protein. So they come together to build the protein. I'm gonna draw circles here, and each of these circles represents an amino acid. And there are a dozen of them, so I'm not gonna start naming the different types of amino acids, but just know that all these circles are amino acids. Now I'm gonna draw lines connecting them, and them coming together like this creates, well, I'm gonna circle it, one whole thing, protein. Think of it that way. These amino acids, these little dots here, come together and they form protein. Now there are two different types of amino acids. You have amino acids that are essential, so I'm just gonna write down essential here. And I like to say that it is essential that you get them from food, okay? So essential amino acids are, I'm gonna write down from food. That is the only way that you can get them. And then you have non-essential amino acids. And I like to say that it is not essential that you get them from food because your body can produce them. So I'm gonna write down body can produce. Keyword is can. Okay, body can produce them. I'm not saying that the body will. So crap. All right, that kind of looks like ass, but so the body can produce them. A reason that your body will not produce it, one condition is your body being like super stressed out. So if you're under just a ton of stress, your body may not produce one of the essential or non-essential rather amino acids. And in that case, there's a third one called conditional amino acids. I'm not gonna write that one down. But basically what that is that your body isn't producing, it's not producing the non-essential amino acids that it's supposed to. So then all you would have to do is replace that by eating food to get the amino acids that you need, okay? Now, why is this important? I'm gonna write that down here. So I'm just gonna write down why important. Underline that. So I'm gonna write down training. This is why it's important. Training plus protein. What does that equal? Muscle. Now I'm gonna put a star right here because no protein equals no muscle. Remember that. Okay, out of all the macros, protein is, in my opinion, the most important one. Okay, protein and fat are the two macros that you actually need to survive. Believe it or not, you actually don't need carbs at all. I'm not saying don't eat carbs, absolutely eat them. I'm just saying from that standpoint, you only need protein and fat for your body to actually live, okay? Now, what I'm gonna do now is cover some high protein food sources, the ones that are literally the best. And then I'm gonna go over the ones that people think are high protein, but they're actually not. Okay, just to clear that up so that you guys, if you are making that mistake, you can make that correction and then get fucking awesome results from here on out. So a lot of you are already gonna know this. The biggest thing I wanna hit is what people think are high protein, but it's not. But I'm gonna start with what is high protein. So I'm gonna write down high protein. Number one is obviously gonna be meats, right? Number two, I'm gonna write down chicken, but not just chicken. I'm gonna write down chicken breast, okay? And if you don't know this already, chicken breast, out of all the different types of cuts of chicken, chicken breast has the highest amount of protein and the lowest amount of calories. The reason being is because it is the leanest. What that means is that it has the lowest grams of fat. So fat has a lot of calories in it. Not to say that fat is bad, like I was just saying earlier, fat is essential for your body, but as far as high protein, chicken breast is the best one. And then next I'm gonna write fish. Number four, eggs / egg whites. Number five, obviously, a lot of people are already doing this now. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's literally in the name, protein powder. Okay, and then you know what? I'm actually gonna take time and write this too. Dairy, but specific types of dairy, okay? Because a common misconception, and here it's what I'm gonna get into next here soon, is that cheese is actually high in protein, and that's not the case. Okay, I'm gonna actually elaborate that here in a second, but basically some high protein foods that are actually high protein and not just noise, not just bullshit, is meats. So when I'm talking about meats, it could be like steak, ground beef, stuff like that. You know, there's all different types of animals that you can get meat from, all very good for you. Elk being the best form of meat that you can get. But anyway, something I actually really wanted to talk about when it comes to the meats is the leaner the meat, the better. So a lot of people are buying like 80-20 beef and ground beef. What that means is that the ground beef is 80% lean, 20% fat. And the protein to calorie ratio just isn't good. If you're doing that, you need to bump up to at least 90%. Honestly, the bare minimum should probably be 93%. And if you have access to 96%, even better, okay? And the reason being is because, again, it's gonna have lower fat. So it's gonna have more protein in it and then less calories. Now I'm gonna move on to, I already talked about chicken breast. So fish, best types of fish. A lot of people already know this, but some people don't, okay? You got salmon, tuna, and then you got tilapia. Those are some of the best ones ever. And then really, you honestly can't go wrong with fish, but in a way, I guess that you could go wrong with fish is like getting sushi, right? So that's mixed in with a bunch of different stuff, like, you know, a lot of carbs in it, a lot of sauces and fats and stuff. So it all comes down, really all of this comes down to how you prepare it, but specifically with fish, because when you go to restaurants, you can see how they're prepared and stuff. It's not always prepared in the best way. Now with eggs and egg whites. So people think that you can't eat eggs every day. You absolutely can, 100%. What you can do, so I put egg whites as well. You can have like, say, maybe 2 to 3 eggs, but then if you want even more protein, instead of adding an extra egg and getting more yolk in there, just add some egg whites. Add like 2 servings of egg whites, and that's another 10 grams of protein right there. And then here with the protein powder, pretty self-explanatory. Don't really need to get into that. Now dairy, that's the one I wanted to elaborate on a little more. It depends on which one. Like I said, was saying about the cheese. Cheese is high in fat, but if you get like something low fat cottage cheese, then that is very good for you. It's good. It's a good protein to calorie ratio, very good protein to calorie ratio, low fat cottage cheese, and then also Greek yogurt. I highly recommend getting the Oikos Greek yogurt. One of the little containers has 15 grams of protein for only 90 calories. That is incredible. Okay, so definitely sticking to those. Now I'm gonna get into not high protein that people think is. So not high protein. First one, I gotta get this out of the way. PB, peanut butter. It is not a high protein food. Does it have protein in it? Absolutely. But it has double the amount of fat than it has protein in it, meaning it is a good source of fat. Okay, if you have an ingredient and you look at the macros, the macro that it is highest in is what it's good for. So peanut butter, very high in fat. Okay, not very high in fat, but it's the highest in fat is what I mean. So peanut butter is a good source of fat. Now to continue on with the high source of fat, you just have, I'm gonna write nuts / seeds. Do they have protein in them? Absolutely. But they have more fat, so they're a good source of fat, not a good source of protein. Number 3, I'm gonna write beans, okay? Do they have protein in them? Absolutely, but they have more carbs in them, so they're a good source of carbs. Number 4, I honestly have no idea how people think that this is a high protein food. Oatmeal. I seriously have no idea. Like, you look at the back, the nutrition facts, quadruple the amount of carbs than it does protein. Of course, if you buy like a protein oatmeal or something like that, but all they did was like add protein to it. And you can do that by yourself if you just combine oatmeal with protein powder, and then you can flavor it like however you want. That's what I love to do. Now, I have one more. It's gonna be cheese. All right, does it have protein in it? Yes, absolutely, but it has more fat in it. Okay, so it is not a high protein food, it is a high fat food. And cheese, yes, it is good. How much protein should you be eating? Okay, the bare minimum that you need to be eating to build and repair and maintain your muscle is going to be 0.7 grams per pound of body weight, per pound of goal body weight. So let's say you are 200 pounds, right? So multiply that by 0.7. Here, that's 7 times, we got 2 zeros here. 7 times 2 is 14. Move over 1 decimal. That's gonna come out to 140 grams of protein if your goal body weight, or if you are 200 pounds, right? So 140 grams of protein is what you need to be eating every single day if your goal weight is 200 pounds, if you wanna build, repair, and maintain muscle. Okay guys, so I just realized how long the video was going over all of this. So what I'm gonna do is actually just break this up into a series. The next video I'm gonna do is gonna be about carbs, and then the next one is gonna be about fats, and then the next one is gonna be all about micros. The micros one is actually gonna be relatively short, but yeah, stay tuned. Next week, I'm gonna post the carbs clip, all right? See you then.